The Super Bowl matchup is set, and it does feel like the Arizona Cardinals got taught a lesson. You know, last week we talked about how the Arizona Cardinals clearly need to focus on doing what the Philadelphia Eagles have done. And I've even got a short social media breakout clip that I'll put out later today on social media. But I think what you learned last week from the Philadelphia Eagles is very plainly that you got to be able to stack that team. Kyler Murray is clearly a good quarterback in the NFL. And for everyone out there that just doesn't like him because, I don't know, he's short, or you have a narrative against him, or you've been rooting against him since he showed up in the league, or for everyone that's rooting for him, and especially that should be every Arizona Cardinal fan. You're not rooting for the guy to fail. That's like rooting for your president to fail even though you didn't vote for him. It just hurts you as well. But what we've learned about Kyler is pretty plainly this, that he is a quarterback in the NFL that needs a lot of things to go well for him to play well. And what I think you saw from the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals is there's a clear blueprint to be an effective team in the NFL for years to come. But I don't think that's all you've learned from the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not just you got to stack the roster, you got to find a good running game, you got to draft well defensively, you got to establish a culture of physicality. I think, unfortunately, what you saw from the Philadelphia Eagles is that offensive line play is so bleeping important. Like, it is the most underrated thing in the NFL that we like to talk about it sometimes so it makes us feel better about not forgetting it. But clearly, it is what is the driving force behind the Philadelphia Eagles' run this year to the Super Bowl. And I think what you saw last night or yesterday is very plainly that the Arizona Cardinals made the wrong decision at number 4, drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. This is not me saying he's a bad player or he's a bust or I was wrong about him being a star in the league. I still believe that he is going to be one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. The issue is positional value. And just like how running backs were down over the past couple of years, I think what you saw is wide receivers' value start to come down. A.J. Brown is awesome. He's not the driving force of that Eagles team. It's Saquon Barkley. It's the offensive line. It's the timely throws down the middle. And so what I think you saw is, it's hard to say this because it comes off as just a contrarian take, but I think what's fair is the Arizona Cardinals made the wrong decision at number 4. Now, I'm not saying that they should have just drafted Joe Alt or at number 4, although if they couldn't have found a trade partner, I would have done that. But last year, I was beating the table of this team has to trade back. Get multiple picks, get multiple players in the first round, get multiple players in the second round, help add to your draft value next year, and go get an offensive lineman. And go get Dallas Turner. Go get Fashanu from the Jets, who got drafted by them. Or go get Joe Alt, who ended up getting drafted by the Chargers. I love Marvin Harrison Jr., and he's going to be a ton of fun. And he's going to sell more jerseys than Joe Alt. And he's going to sell more jerseys than Dallas Turner. Well, if his jersey situation ever gets figured out. But with that being said, Marv, although he seems to not be a diva wide receiver, a lot of wide receivers are. So as much as I love Marvin Harrison Jr. and I'll buy the guy's jersey and it'll be fun to watch him score touchdowns and make unbelievable catches, and even myself, I don't think he's a bust, not anywhere close to it. I think he's going to be a really good wide receiver in the NFL. Potentially a top 10 guy, potentially a top 5 guy. I don't put any of that past him. It's positional value. And I just look and see what the Arizona Cardinals could have been this year with what was good line play, could have been elite line play. If you had Joe Alt on one end, Paris Johnson Jr. on the other end, Yoda Froholt in the middle, Will Hernandez when he was playing well and healthy, and then at that point, you just got to fix the right guard position. And then you're right up there with some of the top offensive lines of the Detroit Lions or the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think at that point, it just helps Kyler Murray flourish. And then you draft a wide receiver late in the first round because you traded back, or early in the second round. Maybe that's a Keon Coleman. Maybe that's a Ladd McConkey. But this is what I was talking about a year ago, which was very plainly, yes, Marv is fun. And it's the sexy choice, and it's going to sell jerseys. But I think what you saw with the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles is very plainly that this team needed to get better line play. And with a quarterback like Kyler Murray, who's not a top 5 guy and needs other things around him to succeed, I really feel like drafting Joe Alt or trading back and getting Fashanu or a Dallas Turner, or in the second round because of those picks that you trade back with, you got a Ladd McConkey or a Keon Coleman. That is what the Arizona Cardinals should have done. It's nothing against Marv. It's not a contrarian take. It's not me saying the guy sucks. All of that would be ridiculous, inauthentic, disingenuous. But it's clear at this point, Marv wasn't exactly the right pick at number 4 last year, although it made you feel better. And if we're just being fair, I don't think that's all in Kyler. Marv, I think, also lacks a little bit of a mentality to just go be elite. So, I think what was exposed this weekend was wide receivers aren't that important. The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl without a true number 1 again. A.J. Brown had 2 catches going into the NFC Conference Championship game. This game has and will be, and for the foreseeable future, won in the trenches. Defensive line, offensive line, and as much as Marvin Harrison Jr. is fun, makes you feel better, big play guy, I think what you clearly saw over the past couple of weeks, offensive line play wins, and it makes me feel validated when last year I was saying, hey, I know Marv is great, but it feels like an offensive lineman or a pass rusher might be the better place to go, as well as trading back and getting more picks. So that's where I would have went. Although I get it, Marv is fun, and I still think he's going to be a good player for years to come.